the forest suddenly has a second horizon. It moves, and the ground answers beneath your feet. A neck rises through conifers like a living crane. Far off, a predator's skull turns toward the light. Nothing here is merely large, scale itself feels broken. That is the real shock dinosaurs still deliver. Not monsters, but animals built on impossible dimensions. Some towered over houses, while others barely reached your knee. To understand them, we must shrink ourselves first. Then step into a world where humans never belonged. Start with your body. Nearly every comparison begins there. An average adult stands under 2 meters. Many famous dinosaurs easily doubled, tripled, or transformed that measure. Paleontologists do not guess size for drama. They measure bones, footprints, and the spaces between joints. From those clues, skeletons rise carefully. Flesh comes later, and uncertainty always stays nearby. That caution matters deeply. Dinosaurs were stranger than exaggeration, even without myth or movie inflation. And first, a surprise worth keeping. Most dinosaurs were not giants. Some were turkey-sized at adulthood. Some were smaller than you expect from the word dinosaur. Early dinosaurs in the Triassic often looked lean. Beside a human, many would seem fast, not towering. Eoraptor was lightly built and quick. You might have looked down on it. Coelophysis was longer, but narrow and delicate. Its height still stayed close to a person's. Scale exploded later. Evolution kept testing bigger frames, longer necks, deeper chests, heavier tails. By the Jurassic, entire landscapes had changed. Plants, climate, and anatomy opened doors to enormous bodies. To feel that jump, imagine a horse, then place it beside a juvenile sauropod. The horse suddenly looks temporary and fragile. The youngster already hints at a moving building. Stegosaurus was not skyscraper tall. Its back still reached above many people. Stand at its shoulder, the plates would lift higher, turning the animal into a walking wall. Its brain stayed small by later standards. Its silhouette absolutely did not. Ankylosaurus kept lower to the ground, but its width made space around it disappear. Beside one, you would not feel tiny upward. You would feel crowded outward. Its tail club alone seems unreal. Bone turned the last swing into a wrecking hammer. Then comes Triceratops, and the air changes. Here size becomes personal. Its brow horns projected forward longer than swords. Its skull could stretch over 2 meters. At eye level with a human, the frill would still feel immense. Face to face, it was a fortress. Even herbivores changed the meaning of large. They did not need sharp teeth to dominate space. Even medium dinosaurs upset expectation. A human beside a iguanodon would still face a chest of muscle and beak. Parasaurolophus stood longer than a car. Its crest added drama, but the torso supplied the mass. The duck-billed giants traveled in herds. One individual was impressive. Many became a moving horizon. Hadrosaurs make another good comparison. Many reached bus-like lengths while keeping nimble, athletic bodies. Edmontosaurus could stand with a human-sized predator nearby and still look overwhelmingly substantial. Now picture Allosaurus stepping from shade. Its hips already rival your height. Its head leans forward with pubis. Its tail balances everything behind. That posture matters. Dinosaurs were not lizard sprawls dragging across the ground. Their legs tucked beneath them. Weight traveled straight downward like birds and mammals. That efficient stance unlocked scale across continents. It let giant bodies move without immediately collapsing. Carcharodontosaurus stretched longer than a bus. Standing nearby, you would track only pieces of it. A jaw here, a thigh there. The whole animal barely fits inside your attention. Spinosaurus may have been longer still, but its exact shape remains debated. Scientists agree on the strangeness of it. Long snout, tall sail, and a body built partly for water. So even among giants, size worked differently from species to species. Length, height, and mass did not always match. That brings us to Tyrannosaurus rex at last. Familiarity hides its true dimensions. T-Rex was about 12 meters long. Its hips rose far above a person's head. Tyrannosaurus matched Rex in different proportions: longer skull, lower build, and a frame stretched for balance. Ceratosaurus was smaller than these celebrities. Beside a person, it would still own the clearing. The skull alone could reach roughly human height. The bite came packaged in a face bigger than yours. Teeth also keep the measurements honest. A single Rex tooth can exceed the length of a human hand. Yet the legs were the deeper shock in person. Each stride carried tons with bird-like precision. A single thigh bone can exceed a meter. One leg begins to resemble a column. And mass changes everything. A large Rex may have weighed around 8 tons. That is several cars, balanced on 2 feet. Nature almost never does that now. Still, the true emperors were elsewhere entirely. The long-necked sauropods rewrote all comparison. Meet Diplodocus first in open country. Here, length becomes the trick. From snout to tail tip, it stretched absurdly far. A person beside it looks like punctuation. Its neck did not simply add size to the body. It pushed the animal into another category of presence. The tail answered the neck with equal confidence. One body occupied space like a bridge. Apatosaurus traded slender drama for bulk. Its chest and limbs carried a more massive impression. Stand by the foreleg for a moment. You are suddenly studying architecture, not anatomy. Then Brachiosaurus lifts the scale upward. Its front legs rose taller than its hind legs. That tilted the body startlingly high. The head could browse near rooftops of ancient trees. Some estimates place that head around 13 meters up. A 4-story building is the nearest everyday shortcut. Mamenchisaurus carried an especially long neck. Much of its greatness happened before the shoulders even arrived. Imagine reaching the ankle of a giant sauropod. You still have a tower of limb above you. But even that comparison fails emotionally. Buildings do not breathe, blink, or turn toward you. Sauropod vertebrae hid another elegant secret. Many were filled with air spaces. These air sacs reduced weight. Without them, such bodies may have been impossible. So gigantism was not just bigger bones and longer necks. It was engineering, repeated across millions of years. And then come the titanosaurs themselves. The word itself sounds oversized. Argentinosaurus is known from incomplete remains. That matters because the estimates are enormous. Scientists think it may have exceeded 30 meters. Its mass may have passed 60 tons. Some estimates climb higher. Careful researchers still keep the uncertainty visible. Even the cautious numbers overwhelm us. A person near its foot becomes almost decorative. Its trackway would not feel like footprints to you. It would feel like a route. Another titanosaur, Protagotitan, helps sharpen the picture. Its skeleton is more complete. That completeness brings confidence. It still points to an animal of extraordinary mass. Dreadnoughtus offers another useful anchor. Its preserved bones show a life already enormous before growth fully ended. Bone beds reveal crowds, not exceptions. In the right place, giant bodies shared the same mud and seasons. Now step beneath the ribcage in your imagination. The torso alone becomes a room around you. Look up at the shoulder. Bone rises where your ceiling should be. Look along the neck into the distance. Perspective starts to fail. Animals this large challenge eyesight itself. Your brain prefers familiar scales, then loses its grip. Which giant feels hardest to imagine? Tell me below before we go larger. Could you stand calmly beside one? Or would scale alone send you running? Hold that picture firmly in your mind. The biggest animals are still ahead. And they were not statues in warm mud. They crossed floodplains, nested, and kept growing. Some juveniles likely added kilograms every day. Giant adulthood arrived through astonishing growth. Growth rings inside bones preserve part of that story. Dinosaurs carried their history within their limbs. Size also changed sound and silence. The world around giants probably felt lower, heavier, and slower. Footfalls would travel through soil thirst. You might sense them in your ribs before hearing them. Necks sweeping through foliage would reshape light beneath the canopy. Shadows would move like weather. Even dung, nests, and paths altered ecosystems around them. Very large animals engineer everything around them. That is another truth science hides from us. Dinosaurs were landscapes to one another. A hatchling beside a sauropod mother faced impossible scale from birth. Family life spanned from vulnerable to vast. Predators knew this too. The young and the weak were different worlds from healthy adults. For a human observer, the skull often shocks first, then the feet and the breathing chest. Tracks make size honest in a special way. A footprint cannot pose for the camera. Some sauropod prints are wider than a person's chest. You could step into them like hollows. Theropod prints feel different. 3 toes stamp sharp intent into mud. T-Rex tracks show enormous balance and control. Each impression records control, not clumsy heaviness. The same goes for claws and joints. Fossils remind us that big did not mean awkward. Eggs seem like they should scale with giants, yet even huge sauropods began from surprisingly modest shells. That contrast feels almost impossible. Mountains of muscle once started in objects you could cradle. Feathers complicate the picture further than old art suggested. Some dinosaurs looked even broader in life. Huge theropods probably were not fluffy giants. Smaller relatives, however, could wear impressive plumage. So the dinosaur silhouette was never one fixed shape. Size came dressed in many designs. Crests, sails, frills, and plates altered apparent size. Display structures made some dinosaurs look larger than bone alone. Soft tissue deepened the illusion further. Muscles, keratin, and skin transformed skeletons into fuller, heavier animals. Consider Deinonychus beside a human. It was not towering, but danger sat compactly. Now consider Utahraptor. The same basic plan scales upward into a human dwarfing hunter. Yet neither approaches sauropod enormity in the end. Dinosaur size had many ceilings, not one. Marine reptiles are often mistaken into this conversation. They were spectacular, but not dinosaurs. Pterosaurs too shared the age, not the family. Dinosaur size alone is astonishing enough. And birds matter here more than it first seems. They are living dinosaurs, still carrying the blueprint forward. A sparrow proves the lineage. An ostrich hints at the old confidence of bipedal bodies. But no bird today recreates the sauropod experience for our senses. That chapter of scale is gone. Why did dinosaurs reach such sizes at all across so many lineages? There is no single complete answer. Efficient lungs likely helped enormously. So did warm growth, abundant plants, and egg-laying reproduction. Long necks opened food without constant movement. Massive guts extracted energy slowly and steadily. Even the neck posture debate changes scale. Lift the head slightly and the whole animal becomes more imposing. Being huge also brought protection in open landscapes. Few predators challenge a fully grown giant. But bigness demands time, food, and resources. Gigantism is power purchased with biology. That is why the fossil record matters so much. It shows both the triumph and the cost. Some lineages stayed modest forever by comparison. Evolution never chased maximum size alone. Tiny feathered species thrived beside behemoths in the same ecosystems. Ancient ecosystems worked through contrast. So when films show only giants, they miss half the wonder. Dinosaur worlds mixed enormity with delicacy. Still, the giants earned their fame completely. They stretched anatomy toward the edge of possibility. And our comparisons keep failing for a reason today. Human scale is simply the wrong ruler. We measure height easily with walls and doors. Dinosaurs force us to measure volume, leverage, breadth, and time. A brachiosaur is not just tall beside you. It is tall while alive, moving and deciding. A rex is not just heavy in a diagram. It is heavy on 2 legs with speed in reserve. An Argentinosaurus is not just long. It is long while carrying a heartbeat bigger than metaphor. That is why museum halls feel inadequate at times. Skeletons preserve shape but steal motion and sound. Yet they still work a kind of spell on us. Bone alone can make modern rooms feel smaller. Museum mounts must compress reality. Real skin, color, and movement would make those frames feel larger still. Imagine meeting one in open country at dawn. Your first instinct might not be fear, but disbelief. So tell me below, which dinosaur size feels most impossible to picture? And if you had 1 minute beside any giant, which would you choose? Tell me that too. Subscribe and ring the bell. There are more lost worlds before us. Because our species arrived late to everything, the planet's longest stories were already ancient. For millions of years, Earth belonged to scales beyond our instincts. We are the brief afterthought. And somewhere in every museum bone, that vanished immensity still stands up inside the mind.